The market has absolutely continued to change. Let's jump in to see what's happening with the data and dive deeper about rates, home values, and what's to come for Q3, Q4 in 2025. First of all, the Fed. What is going to occur? Well, we have different sources that show, hey, the rates could reduce September, November, December, or 2025. And look, to be honest, I'm not as optimistic as these sources are. I believe that we won't see this rate reduced until the beginning of 2025 or Q1 of 2025. So if you're a buyer out there, definitely expect rates to decrease with the expectation with the market headed that way. Because, of course, I don't have a crystal ball to say that, but let's just follow what all the other sources here on this page says, and we'll see what occurs. Next is going to be another MBA prediction that rates are going to be reducing in 2025 with the hopes to maybe in the 5 point somethings. That would be great, but realistically, that would be Q3, Q4 of 2025 before you see the number 5 in front of it. Now, what about elections and how does that impact values? Well, 9 of the last 11 elections, we've seen prices go up right after November. And that holds true really in the last just many elections. So do we expect rates to decrease? Yes. And do we expect values to increase? Yes. So if you want to get a good deal, purchase before November of this year, and you're likely going to be able to get the cheapest home on the market, again, based on history. Here's another really cool statement. In December, following an election, and in the following year, the sales that are lost during November and are recovered. It isn't that customers say, I'm nervous and I never want to buy. They say, I'm nervous. Let's just wait to see how things play out. So in reality, when we see a reduction in November of the amount of sales closed, we expect those same people and more coming back in December. So here's the thing. Normally, I would say December is a great month to purchase, but not this year. This year, I would avoid that. I would purchase November and prior, so third quarter and fourth quarter up to November to get that great deal. So I'm not competing against everybody else who wants to come back in on the market December, January, and February. Let's now go into the data from last month and see what is happening with the market. First of all, days to sell. The average days to sell are 64. And I want you to see this trend. We did start to decrease from 92 days, 81 days, 60 days, and now we're starting to increase again. And we expect days on market to increase in August and as we go into later this year, because historically that's the trend. It takes longer to sell as you go into further into the year. So as you're a seller, hey, expect not only longer days on market, but probably the values are going to decrease slightly, 2%, maybe 4%, again, because that's normal. Now, new listings, we actually saw a decrease of new listings compared to year over year. We're at 4,554 compared to the previous year, about 4,600. Close price to list price ratio, that basically means when a seller lists the home, did they get it? So if they wanted 500,000, did they get it? The answer is no. Right now, buyers are receiving the purchase price or the sales prices below what the original list price was. Median list price is at $489,000. And I want you to see this trend here. We started to see a decrease in the actual list price, and then it started going up, and now it's about leveled out. Okay, notice that list price. Now look at the closed price. We're at $450,000. Same thing. Look, from February we ended up starting to go up, and now we leveled off. So do we see a lot of appreciation happening every single month going upwards? No, we don't see that. We see a leveling off, which is a little unique for the summertime, which we usually keep skyrocketing going up. That's a really great thing for buyers and sellers. You have to set your expectations to just have a reality or a fair price when selling. The active listings to sold listings are at 13,419 active listings. Wow, that's a lot. Sold listings were at 2,710. That's not a lot. Not compared to normal June numbers. That is beneath the norm. We're usually above 3,000, and this is at 2,700. Now, if you look, this is the crazy part. For active listings, we have 4,573 more active listings compared to pre-pandemic or average. That's 52% more listings. Wow. Sellers, you have a lot of competition. That's what that means. A lot of competition. And look at inventory. 5 months of inventory. So buyers have a lot to select from. And if you look at the months before, the last 2-3 months, we're at 4 months. So we're more inventory, more competition as a seller, more options as a buyer to select from. It also means you're likely going to get a better deal as a buyer, and we're going to continue to see values not go up, but likely go flat, or again, just slightly 2 to 4% reduction, because that's normal for Q3 and Q4. Sellers, all right, a little repeat of what we just said. The sold price stabilized, active listings increased, days on market, meaning how long does it take to sell, that also increased, right? The 5 months of inventory means you have a lot of competition. Interest rates are still higher. About that said, they did reduce over the last few months from 7.1%, but they're at about 6.5 to 6.8, depending on if someone pays for points or not. And sellers tend to help buyers with points, meaning you're paying more of closing costs. Negotiation power as a seller, you have less, right? The buyers have more, they have more power. They can easily walk away, and you may not have the next buyer for a very long time. Fair price versus great condition equals a sold home. So if you do have a perfect home, even if it's a home 4 or 5 years ago, it's beautiful and it's a fair price, it will sell. But if you're trying to price it too high, it's going to sit. It's going to sit for a very long time. And you're going to wonder, is it my realtor? Most likely it's because it's the price or the marketing. That goes into the next point. Fewer homes sold in June compared to the previous year. And lastly, marketing and the selling strategy is so incredibly important that you really want to ask your agent, what is happening? Where is this listing posted? What do buyer agents see when on the MLS? What do they see when it comes to benefits of my home? What are the seller favorite list? What are the cool things or great things to do in the neighborhood? All of this should be listed on your listing. If it's not, go make sure it is. Ask the agent to change it. Buyers, let's talk about you. Some really great things happening. Again, entering Q3, Q4 should be amazing when it comes to getting, again, a great deal before the expectation of 2025 of increase of prices. The new home interest rates are absolutely amazing. They're giving 4.5%. They're giving 6%, up to 6% closing costs. They're paying for your closing costs, and they're giving you incentives for reduction on the purchase price. Great deals. The downside is usually you have to buy outside of Austin metro market. So, pros and cons. Also, move-in ready, price correctly homes can have multiple offers. Definitely see that every week. It's just not extreme. And the offers are probably about 10,000 above, so it's not crazy. Sellers, they will expect you to negotiate with them, so no worries. That's wonderful. And homes priced under 400,000, they're very competitive still. All right, even if especially if they're beautiful, very competitive. Now, the homes in better condition will be in better condition now versus pre-pandemic or the pandemic time, because people want, again, to sell their house, so they're making it look better and repairing it. We're seeing stabilized values, which is more confidence to the market. There's no crazy dip or anything like that. And again, we anticipate prices to increase in 2025. With that said, if you have any questions about the market, reach out, whether you're a seller, you're a buyer, investor. Listen, there are different parts of the market, and since they're constantly changing, ask for information. This is what we're here for. See you next month.